Hello my brothers and sisters in nerdiness, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be having a look at my airbrush setup. Now this setup is usually in the craft room, which is the room behind me, but at the moment I can't actually get in there to film and set everything up because, as per usual, we've been trying to have a sort out and we've put everything in there and yeah, there's no room for tripods or anything, so I brought it into the living room and we're going to have a look in here. Now, this is done by special request from Andy from Mad Lad Designs. He's querying the whether or not it's worthwhile getting an airbrush. Years ago, I was asked, sorry, not asked, I was asking around about airbrushes, whether it was worthwhile getting one, that kind of thing. And one of the lads at the Games Club I was a member of at the time said, if you haven't used one by now, you don't need one. Fair enough. If you haven't used an airbrush, you don't need one. But it doesn't stop you wanting one, doesn't stop you using one, and if you'd like one, go for it. The set I have has been updated a little bit, and what you're going to see has been in use. So it's a little bit dusty, a little bit grubby because of paint on it, but I should have done this right at the very beginning when I first got it, when it was all brand new, but hey, I didn't. But here we are. I'm going to let you know now that I got a set originally from Ali for my birthday, I think it was, during lockdown, and I'm going to show you that first, and then I'm going to show you what I've added to it and another sundry that I got. In fact, no, I got it with. So yeah, I'm going to show you the set first. I'm going to show you what else I got with it. Okay, so first off, we got this little beauty. This is the compressor. It's not very big. It doesn't have the big tank. It's okay. Let's put it one way, it's better than those little ones that you get with the very basic ones. It's a nice size, it's heavy. The air pressure gauge works fully, that works okay. What happens is you get that and you get the air line as well, and basically this screws into this here. Something else I've added to is I've got one of these little things. Right, this thing here is a water trap, so when you're using it, if any moisture gets in there, it won't come through into the airbrush. There is one on the bottom of here, but to be doubly safe, I have got another one, and I've got this at the end of my air line just to make sure that it doesn't come off. And I've also got a quick release thing here as well, which is something I've added to. That's not with the kits. Let me show you there. It's that bit there. Oops, that bit there. I'll show you how that works in a moment. So we have that obviously gets plugged into the mains. I had a adapter for it because that's the plug it came with. Yeah, not English. Next, we had the airbrushes. I'll move those out of the way. And we got one, two, we got 3 airbrushes in the set. I'm going to zoom in and then we can take a look at each airbrush in turn. Okay, won't be a second. Right, we'll move those away. And we'll start with this one. This one is one I've never used. This has its own line for it. This little piddly thing. Again, it attaches the same way as the other one does. Basically some screws, and if I bring this back in, take it off there, and that doesn't screw onto there. That screws onto there. Oh, what a fool am I. So that bit screws onto there. This bit then screws onto here. And the airbrush itself doesn't fit there either. So I've not a clue what that is. As I said, I've not used this one, so I don't know. That goes in there. Have I got... Yes, I have. But that's still too small to fit on there. Actually, I don't think this rubber seal was just fallen off from somewhere. I don't know where. Oh dear. But as I say, I've not used this one. I'm just going to screw that one back in. I think that's for the quick release thing. Where this has gone, I don't know. But this... Got it. That goes into there. And then you get these little pots. You take the lid off the pots, you put the paint in there, you screw the pot lid, you don't screw the pot lid into... What do you do with this thing? It's not. Let's have a look. I don't know. I would have thought that slotted onto there, but it doesn't. But you see why I haven't used it. I can't work it out. Yeah, no matter what, it's not the one. It's not one I would use anyway. So I'll put that back in there. I'll put that back in there. I'll put this back on the end. Again, I don't know how that works. I'll take this off here. That's just unscrewed from there, so I don't know how that fits. Oh God. As I say, I haven't used this one before. So I don't know how it goes, but there we go. That's that. That's that. That's the airbrush, and basically the airbrush stuff happens slightly different way to a normal airbrush. I don't know. I'm not going to play with this at all. I've not a clue what I'm doing with it. It's just going back onto the shelf where it was and promptly ignored for the rest of eternity, as far as I'm concerned. So it's not one I would use. So if you wanted to use something like that, you'd have to work out how to do it. I can't show you on here. Sorry. I'm going to just put this nozzle back on to this airbrush thing, and then we'll come on to the next airbrush that we got, which is this one. It's got a very small cup. There's a few things in it as well. In in there's a little spanner. That's in the craft room. I'll show you that. It's in the other one. We have another nozzle in here, a spur nozzle, and in that part was a little pipette, which I've been using, and we've got the airbrush itself. Now this airbrush has quite a small cup. As you can see, it's been used quite happily. And this thing here, I am thinking you put it over there and you can unscrew these a bit more easily for when it comes around to cleaning. Now I mentioned about the quick release thing. I've only got this one line as yet, but we've got 2 airbrushes. You could push that in there and it's locked. There you go. To release it, you pull this and it comes off. Oh yeah, so that's what that is. That's a separate unit to that, and that is a separate unit to that. So that's the airbrush. These airbrushes are K Moon, I think, KL Moon, something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly the logo. I think it's K Moon, but it looks like there's an L shape as well between the K and the Moon. But I do know. And finally, with the airbrushes, we have this one, which is the one you see on a lot of my videos, because this is my workhorse. In fact, they're both as good as each other. But again, we have the thing. It's one of those where you press in to release the air and pull back to release the paints. It's a little bit stiff. It needs a good clean out, I think, nowadays. I've not used it for a few weeks, so I think it's just got a little bit stiff with thinking, oh, it could just be the fact that it's not hooked up and I'm trying to use it. It's not springing back as it should. But let's move this away. Open it up. You've got the needle coming out there. That's for tightening it. That's for tightening it inside. I need to get my nails done because I can't get into things that I want to get my hands into. Actually, that bit might even be helpful for getting this out. No, it's not. Not at all. Oh well, there's a thought. So that is the airbrush. Again, you pull that. Oh, you pull that out. You can use that for tightening up and what's the word I'm looking for? Loosening up. Again, K-Moon. It's all one set that we got. It was the 3 airbrushes, the compressor. I can't remember whether I got these with it as well, but I don't think I did. I think I got these from Amazon. They're just a little set of rubber washers. Also with the set, again, these have been used quite a bit as some little cleaning brushes of different sizes. As you can see, they have been quite happily used. I do have another set in there ready for going once these become a little bit too far gone. And also we have this little beastie. When you're cleaning your airbrush out between paints, paints, empty the paint out, put the cleaning stuff in, give it a bit of a back blow, pop it in there, and put on the washer, the airbrush cleaner, IPA, water, whatever that goes into there. You've got a little filter in here, which you need replacing every so often. They're not very expensive to pick up, but I think this was in the set as well, if I remember rightly. So that is it for the set that I got. And again, I'm sorry for the way it looks, but they have been, well, these 2 have been used. That one, yeah, that's just been put on the shelf and ignored. Now, I was having trouble with some of the videos or some of the painting things I was doing of the, I'm just taking the line off. With some of the painting sessions I had, I was having trouble with the paint drying in the nozzle and not coming out, everything being blocked, and having to strip it down, clean it, start again to find it happening again. I was asked what kind of compressor I had, and I told him, he said, did it have a tank? I said no. He said, well, what you should do is get one, a bigger one, with a tank with it. So I did. So this doesn't come with the set, this is bought separately. Now on here, there are other little things, as well as the big, oh God. Now then, there's a thing, because as you can see, hopefully in there is water. And it's just leaked out on my table. I'm not happy at that, but never mind. So we have the tank, which is the big black thing at the bottom, the compressor, which is this part. We have the water trap, which you've just seen, the nozzle, the nozzle for changing the airflow is there. That red ring tightens it up. The air pressure gauge is there, and we have two slots here for an airbrush. We only have one thing for, I'll lift it up so you can see, we only have one attachment for a pipe, which is why the quick release attachments are really handy. You can have two airbrushes on the go with just one air line from the compressor. Now, this one, the off on button is at the back. With the other one, it's on the top here at the back. So when you finish, what you should do is you get your, once you switch it off, you should press that in to make sure that all the air is out of the tank, and also pull that as well to make sure there's no air left in the tank. I hope you can see that. But apart from that, everything is fine and dandy. They're easy to use, easy to set up. No faffing about at all with these. You just get on with doing what needs to be done with it. The only thing I will suggest is, if you're going to get a compressor like this one, get the best you can afford. This one still isn't quite doing what I want it to do. The air pressure gauge and lock, you know, this bit at the top and the gauge don't seem to work well. That works okay. The air gauge doesn't seem to work terribly well with it. It's a lot quieter than the other one because it does keep shutting off when this is full. Sorry, when the black tank is full, this will shut off for a while, and then once it gets down to only so much in, it will kick off again, fill the tank, and then blow the air out. It all happens so quickly you don't notice it, but this does actually cut out after a while, so you're not getting that motor noise all the way through your painting technique, which you would with the other one, because it never stops blowing, which is why, from what I gather, which is why it dries the paint in the brush, in the airbrush. If you're not using it quick enough, because it's going through, it will dry in the airbrush, and that's why I was recommended to get this beastie. But apart from that, that is my setup. The only other things I've got, which I'm not bringing in here, is a airbrush booth, which collapses, and it's got the pipe that you can put out of the window, and other little bits for cleaning and that. And I've got some spare nozzles as well, which I didn't get in here. Not spare nozzles and some spare needles for different size applications. But yeah, basically that's it. That's my airbrush setup. As I said, it's easy to set up, it's easy to operate. The only skill that's involved is the painting part. The rest of it is a doddle. And even the painting part, I went straight into it and started and just kept going. It's just as I'm going along, I'm learning the things I'm doing wrong. The kind of, I'm not taking care of my airbrushes as I should do, I don't think. But no, I'm not. They really need cleaning out every time I've finished doing a session of painting, because I don't know whether it's going to be the next day, the next couple of days, the next week, or whatever, when I'm start using it again, and I'm just leaving them, just giving them a quick rinse through with water or IPA or airbrush cleaner. They really need to be looked after a lot more. But again, these are just fairly cheap airbrushes. They were with the sets. I do want to upgrade airbrushes eventually to get much better ones, but they do cost a bit. And when I start getting brushes that are costing £100 or so, then yeah, obviously I'm going to take a lot more care with them. But yeah, I'm happy with the set I've got. They're doing me for the moment, and I just need, as I say, to just take more care of them and take some time to clean them out properly as they should be. But anybody who's thinking of getting an airbrush, stop thinking about it. Just jump in and get one. I would recommend, if you're living in a flat or somewhere and you've no access to going out, or not access, but if you've nowhere to really paint outside with one, I would recommend an airbrush booth, because it takes all the chemical gunk and all the paint particles away from you, so you're not breathing those in, because otherwise you'd be breathing them in as you go. If you don't have an airbrush booth, or if you sit with the window open or whatever, if you're going to use just like a cardboard box to do your airbrushing in, I would highly recommend getting one of the respirators. It stops you breathing in those paint particles and any chemicals that are in the paint. When you're cleaning your brushes out, when you're using IPA or when you're using airbrush cleaner or airbrush thinner, there's probably chemicals in there which you do not want to be breathing in. You do not want to be breathing the paint particles in either. So protect yourself when you're using these things. But as long as you've got ventilation, as long as you've got a mask on, and you've got a spray booth, it's perfectly safe using these. These are wonderful items. They don't make your paint better. They help paint quicker. If you can master it, you will get brilliant results, much better than a paintbrush. But if you're just doing it for a little bit of fun, just as a hobby, it's kind of a hobby in itself. Learning how to use it, practicing, getting the different techniques down. Just like painting, it's a hobby in itself, and it's well worth having a try at. I'm not telling you must do. If you've never used one before, you don't need one, as the advice I was given. But they are a nice little toy to use. But that's it for this video, Andy. I hope you decide at some point that you're going to take the plunge and get the set. One thing I won't recommend is the battery operated ones, those with the big tank that's already filled in. I've got one of them. The first one broke when I first used it. The replacement is not doing much better now. I'm not happy with them. I'm never going to use one again. I'm going to stick with this, and I'm going to enjoy it. So yeah, that's it. I promised I would do one when I was in Cornwall. The first chance I've had to get it done, and I've done it for you. So hope it helps you, and I hope it helps you reach a decision of getting one. And I hope the advice I've given in there helps you choose the right things to get. The set I got is good enough to start off with, but you rapidly want to change up and increase into a better compressor, at least one with a big tank. So I would imagine that getting the tank or the bigger compressor with the tank and some slightly cheaper airbrushes would be financially a little more expensive, but possibly cheaper in the long run, so you're not getting the wrong things at the beginning and having to upgrade. I take the plunge at getting the tanker compressor and a couple of cheap airbrushes and just start and practice. The airbrushes may not be the best quality, but it gives you an idea of what you're doing just to start off with. And then if you're enjoying it or you want to get better at it and you find that the airbrushes you've got don't do that for you, you can always upgrade later on. But yeah, if you're limited funds, go for what you can afford is the best thing I can get. But I do recommend getting one of these big beauties with the tank rather than just the compressor itself. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. God bless, and bye for now.